I'm just going to say this. The two movie villains who need a reboot are Cooler and Janemba. Alright guys, so we got literally less than a week before the Dragon Ball event takes place over in Japan, and I'm honestly hyped as you all, but it's time to dive into the speculations that we all have been thinking about, and we all know that is possibly going to be announced, including a Dragon Ball Super remake, the potential Season 2 of a Dragon Ball Daima, and most obviously, and it's pretty much been a reoccurring thing for the last couple of years, a Dragon Ball movie. Now, I'm going to keep it a $150 with you guys. I'm okay with Dragon Ball Super returning either as a remake, or if they decide to hop back in with like the moral arc or the revision of the Broly saga, because in my personal opinion, I was down for a 3-hour Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. You guys know how much I love that one. And if I never specified it, let me be very specifically honest with you, one of my top 3 Dragon Ball movies. If we did get a remake, I would be okay with that, but we're going to have to incorporate some stuff from the manga. One of the things I want to include in the manga is this transformation, and I'm still arguing on the point that this should have been in Sparking Zero for Goku Black, but hey, it is what it is. That is neither here nor there. Bandai, take notes. The other thing they need to fix if they did a remake was the power scaling and the inconsistencies behind it. I don't get myself involved in these arguments, and that's one of the reasons why. And I think by doing a remake for Dragon Ball Super, we would not only unify the manga and the anime continuities together, but we'd also be able to unify an entire community together and not have it be confusing for everybody who's new to the series to be lost in 2 different translations, depending on which variation you read. If you still like reading the manga, that's cool with you. No means no hatred. And if you enjoy anime, that's fine too. But you'd have one series that actually be guiding and following the canon of the manga rather than just, you know, the staff picking and choosing what they want to include and what they don't want to do. However, if they decide to not do like a Super remake and instead they're just going to carry on with like Super 2 or Super Season 2, the animation need to be clean. Okay, guys, this anime has been gone for over half a decade now. Okay, I've seen fan animations, top tier ones, looking really good for the Mora arc and even the Granola arc. Like, y'all got some competition, you know what I mean? Like, we got One Piece has been cooking with animation, Jujutsu Kaisen, some of these other different anime shows for which I don't watch. I've heard just because the fucking animation has been clapping. Like, y'all need to be on point. No more of this 2015 Season 1 Dragon Ball Battle of Gods remake, Episode 5, Goku looking all fucking blurry and face and shady and shit. Like, nah, no more of that. I had to get this off my chest because I'm a little bit concerned about this. If Dragon Ball Super's Granola arc and Mora arcs are made into films, I'm gonna lose my shit. Because, like, what is Shueisha and Toei Animation, like, doing? And better yet, what is the Dragon Ball team doing at this point? You can't condense 20 plus chapters, at least 2 volumes of a manga into a 2-hour Dragon Ball film, and that's not even considering the fact that Broly was only 1:39. You think these people are really going to make this into a 2 to 3 hour film? Alright, so to keep with the topic of the anime, we're going to move on to Daima, and I'm going to keep it very brief. Daima doesn't need a Season 2. We just don't. Now let's talk about the big thing that everybody is going to be talking about, probably speculating on. Dragon Ball movies. Because over the last couple of years, Dragon Ball has only been told and been coming back in the form of movies. Now the thing is, I don't really see them coming up with something original. But we might get something original. And if we did, I would be okay with, like, us exploring the universe, maybe going into another universe like Universe 6 or 12 or 11, or maybe even exploring some of the history behind Dragon Ball, like what happened to the other 6 universes. Because I think in one of the episodes it was specified from Whis that there used to be 18 universes. So I'm kind of wondering, what happened to them? Where are they at now? But that's just a question from a fan for another day, so we'll just have to kind of hope that maybe somehow the lore will be revealed in time. Now, the most obvious thing here is that they're probably going to be rebooting a villain, but which ones? That's probably going to be both Cooler and Janemba. Now, Cooler could be a cool kick-ass reboot, because the thing is, we don't really know much about Frieza or his race beyond, like, the fact that him and his father are mutants, and I would definitely be cool to have him be involved as long as we had a chance to explore, like, Frieza's background as well. The crazy thing about Frieza is that we generally don't know a lot about him or his race or where he comes from. Like, aside from the fact we know him as Galactic Emperor, we don't know where this guy hails from, what his planet is, it's called, what his race is even called. We've actually fictionally don't know what the fuck his race is. We call him Frost Demons, and then some people even call him Arcosians based on like the filler arc back in Dragon Ball Z. Like, nobody really knows what the fuck you even call this thing. And if you played any of the Dragon Ball games, including Xenoverse 2, Xenoverse, and by any chance Super Dragon Ball Heroes, then you kind of get an idea from his own race that aside from Frieza and his family, the rest of them are pretty good and will do right and justice for all of the other people across the universe. Frieza and his family, they're just straight ass dicks. Pause. And considering the fact that Cooler comes from that sort of mutated lineage, I would be okay with them fleshing out his character either doing one of two things. Either he really moves into it and he's like, hey, I'm owning 300 planets or some shit like that, or he resists the temptation and kind of does like what Frost played out to do in Universe 6 during the whole Universe 6 tournament arc. As for a transformation, I'd be okay with this one, but if they wanted to add another, put on a chrome casing to reference the Metacooler variant that he had in his second movie and call it Platinum Cooler or some shit. I don't know. But point is, Cooler would be a great option to have as a reboot villain.
Kind of lost the video footage for this next section, but you guys get the idea.
Now, if you guys don't know anything about this guy, let me go ahead and just educate you a little bit. Janemba is the main antagonist in the movie Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn, and in this film he comes about in the world as a spite demon who was born from the negative malice energy that was produced from the soul scrubbing device, which essentially it sounds exactly what it is, scrubs the evil out of a soul, and basically captures all of this in sludge. One day this machine malfunctioned and created this being here. Now you see the being I'm talking about, because this is actually his first form, and it looks cute and cuddly at the outside. I mean, honestly, if this thing was really small and squishy, it kind of gives off the vibe of a Labubu, I'm not gonna lie, but it is really evil, and that's actually kind of ironic considering the fact I even said it in the first place, because I've heard a lot of people saying that Labubus are demonic, but that's beside the point. Now, the thing is, Janemba being rebooted is not a bad idea because of one of several different reasons. Number one, he has zero personality. When I sit here and say this to you, I'm literally telling you this not as an insult to any Pokemon fans, but this man literally has the mental capacity of a damn Pokemon. He cannot say anything aside from a few onomatopoeias and his own name. And it's no better for him in this transformation. Hell, he doesn't even say his name anymore. He just says... So this thing has one major weakness, and that is basically insults. You have got to throw insults at its face in order for you to even have a shot at bringing him down. Now here's the thing, Pycon is one of the supporting characters in this film, and he had to be present in order to give the Saiyans the time they needed to merge into that absolute unit, Gogeta. But the thing is, there was no obvious weakness. So how exactly do they do this? Well, he insults him, tells him he's a disgusting freak. And I guess that insult hit so hard for him that he destabilized his ass for a moment, long enough to let Goku and Vegeta fuse into the absolute unit and basically finish off the movie. So to keep this brief, if Janemba had no clear weakness like vulnerability, insults, and added an actual brain, he'd be a genuine multiversal threat that would not only be okay to fit into the lore of Dragon Ball Daima, but would even be okay to fit into Dragon Ball Super, like as a god level threat. The thing is, Janemba's existence distorted all of reality, and pretty much every rule that follows it. The world of the dead could go into the world of the living. Anybody in heaven or hell could go back to Earth, come back, leave, do whatever they wanted, and basically, he existence literally distorted all of hell, turning it into a complete playground full of freaking jelly beans and just a wasteland of nothingness. It's not even a joke to how powerful he is as a character within Dragon Ball itself. And the fact that Daima brought up the whole and explored the concept of the demon realm itself would actually make his inception into that world a really kick-ass concept, because the thing is, you can make it into anything cool. Like maybe he's this sort of spirit of vengeance concept, or maybe he's a god killer, or maybe something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of potential to be done with Janemba's character. He could maybe even be turned into a Beetlejuice concept, where it's like the demon realm folks don't even talk about it, let alone even bring up his name, or he'd be summoned. Moral of the story, if we got a rebooted Janemba, I would be okay with that. These are my thoughts on what could be revealed at the event. Let me know what you guys think. What could be happening, new games, new series, new movie. Let me know down in the comment section below. God bless you folks. Have a good night and peace.